G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be going through my round 3 tips for season 2023. Obviously there were no tips video out last week as I was a bit busy with the AFL launch event and just other content that was just kept on stacking up on each other, so I wasn't able to film and edit the tips in time to get it out before the game started. However, we're back now for round 3. Got a total of 6 out of 9 last week, which isn't bad despite no video. Round 1 had an absolute shocker, only getting 3 out of 9 correct. And well, yeah, now we're moving on to round 3 and the season not starting to shape out just yet. Obviously with the extra round, there are a few extra points up for grabs. However, some teams need to be really winning these games this week, as a few good teams who were expected to be doing very well this year still have no wins on the board. So we're going to be going through my round 3 tips. I'm actually going to get rid of a section in the tips video which was reviewing last week's tips. I just feel like it just bores the people out. Like, no one gives a shit what you tipped last week. All they're here for is for this week's tips. So I'm actually going to discontinue that part of the video usually we do on the tips. So we're just going to get straight into round 3. So we're going to be starting off with the Doggies taking on Brisbane at Marvel Stadium tomorrow night, Thursday night. Look, this one I'm genuinely a bit iffy to tip either side here, because Brisbane round 1, they showed absolutely nothing, and then they come to their home ground and they assert absolute dominance over the D's. And well, the Dogs at the moment, well, the thing is they pretty much need to get off the mark this round, and they haven't been able to pick up a win yet. So that's one reason why I might be leaning towards the Dogs. But also, they've played both games in Melbourne to start off their season, and they've done absolutely nothing. They played at the G in round 1, got smoked by 50 points. They played at Marvel last week, got smoked by 50 points. And they're back at Marvel this week for a Thursday night blockbuster against the Brizzy Lions. The Lions have all odds to win this game. 88% of tippers have gone with Brisbane for this match. However, are Brisbane just not going to show up away from home this year? That's something I might be a little bit considerate about. But also the Dogs, they did nothing last week at Marvel, and they've been playing just some really bad football. I'm going to go the Dogs to back it in, because yes, they've been so bad. They've shown absolutely nothing, but the thing is they need to show something. So they've got to do it this week. And Brisbane away from home, I'm not sure how poor they're going to be, because they showed absolutely nothing away from home in round 1. I'm going to tip the Dogs to get it done. I reckon this could be a pretty good game. The Dogs by 1 point. The margin I'm not really too worried about. I'm just worried about if Brisbane get up. So I'm just going to tip the margin very low, just in case the Lions do get up and I'm not too far away from the actual margin. But I feel like if the Dogs do win it, it'll be a close margin anyway. So hopefully a win-win nonetheless for margin. I'm going to be now heading over to the Friday night clash between Collingwood and Richmond. MCG, 7:50 PM on the Friday night. Jeez, this is going to pull in an absolute crowd and a half. Collingwood are looking absolutely elite at the moment. The Tigers had a decent win last week. Obviously, the Tigers got up quite comfortably last week at Adelaide Oval. They defeated the Crows by 32 points, scored over 100. Now they're moving back into Melbourne to face the Pies, who are absolutely red hot at the moment. The Pies are favourites to win this by quite a bit as well. $1.41 plays at $2.86 for the Tigers. However, it's 4th v 6. Obviously, Richmond started off their season with a draw, so that's going to be interesting come end of season with the points. However, I should back in the Pies to get this done. I don't think Richmond will win it. I feel like Collingwood will win it in a bit of either a comfortable win. The Pies last week just absolutely ran all over Port Adelaide, getting it done by 71 points at the MCG. They're loving the G at the moment, the Pies. Gonna get back in the Pies to get this one done by quite a bit. Obviously, it probably won't happen, but I'm going to tip them to get it done by 65 points. Huge margin, but I can just sort of see the Pies taking control of the Tigers, and I feel like if they just start off strong, this margin could get a bit ugly for Richmond. Therefore, I'm going to be backing in the Pies. I know a massive margin in 65 points probably won't happen. However, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let's just tip them by 65. Moving on to the Saturday games now. Hawthorn versus North Melbourne, which is a very interesting game come round 3 as well. North are 2-0. And the Hawks are 0-2, sitting dead last on the table after getting thumped by 14 goals 2 weeks in a row pretty much. So yeah, the Hawks just aren't having the greatest start of season, and well, me predicting them to come 6th probably isn't the greatest prediction out there either. Now, obviously this one is at UTAS, so the Hawthorn Hawks do have a bit of an upper hand. However, I reckon the North Melbourne Football Club will get up. However, I reckon this could genuinely be a close game. I'm going to tip North to get it done by 8 points. I feel like the Hawks, they've done fuck all so far this year. So, really, if they are to get underway at all this season, I reckon this is the game where they could show something. And I feel like they will. North are looking dead strong. They're sitting in 5th position at the moment, which is just crazy to think. I'm going to tip, North Melbourne to get it done by 8 points. Hopefully a thriller on the Saturday evening at Giants Stadium. We head over to witness the Giants take on the Blues. The Giants are sitting 10th and the Blues are sitting 7th. The Blues have major odds to get this one done. Everyone's been tipping Carlton. However, back at Giants Stadium, you see this is where they picked up their first and only win so far of the season. Obviously, Carlton coming off a strong win against the Cats last week, which looked an absolute dominant display after they got it done by 8 points at the MCG. Coming over to Giants Stadium, you should probably predict Carlton to get this one done. However, at Giants Stadium, I'm going to go on upset, and I'm going to be tipping the GWS Giants after they came back against the Crows in round 1 and played some pretty outstanding footy to be down by 5-6 goals, and then turning that around to get over the line against the Crows in round 1 at Giants Stadium. I'm going to back them in, the Giants. I'm going to say they get it done by 10 points. I don't feel like it'll be that big of a margin if they do get up. However, Carlton, obviously, definitely heavy favourites to get it done. Heading over to the MCG, where we see St Kilda take on Essendon. Saturday night footy, 2nd v 3rd. The Saints have been on fire recently, the start of the season, and so have the bloody Bombers. Right from the get-go, I'm tipping the Bombers to get it done by 35 points. I feel like the Saints are favourites, and they are certainly favourites coming into it, and they've been brilliant to start off the season, but I feel like the Bombers are just going to give them a bit of a reality check and put them into their place. I feel like Essendon just have a really good record against St Kilda, but that is also a good record at Marvel Stadium. They're playing at the G this time, so I feel like the footy, it could be a very, very interesting matchup, and it will be a very interesting matchup. However, I'm going to back in the Bombers to get this done, as they've had a pretty clean history with the Saints in the past. Heading to Adelaide Oval now for the showdown, round 3, showdown time. Port Adelaide and Port are heavy favourites to get it done, sitting in 11th position. Obviously, they got the win in round 1 over the Lions at home by 54 points. Comfortable, cruisy win, and then got absolutely thumped last week at the G against the Pies. So heading into this matchup with the Crows, this could be a this could genuinely be like a really, really good contest. I'm going to back in Port Adelaide to get this done by 5 points. I feel like the showdowns always have something to bring. Obviously, we saw Jordan Dawson after the siren last year in the showdown. I don't think it'll be anything that epic, however, still a very, very close finish. It's either going to be this, or I reckon Port Adelaide just trample all over the Crows and get it done by a very heavy margin. However, I don't want to see that happening, so I'm going to tip the Power to get it done by a 5-point gap. Moving on to the Sunday games, we've got the Suns taking on Geelong at Metricon Stadium, and well, look, the Suns haven't had the start that they have wanted to. Obviously, they are also 0-2, losing against the Swans in round 1, getting thumped at their home deck, and then also losing against Essendon last week. They put up a fight last week against the Bombers, but weren't able to get it done. Heading into their home ground, you would think Geelong get this done. However, they're also 0-2, so you genuinely do not know who to pick this early on in the season. One team will be picking up their first win this week. It'll either be the Suns or the Cats. I feel like the Suns, for some reason, they're just in the back of my mind saying the Suns will get it done. Now, obviously, Geelong are the safe option to go, but I'm genuinely going to back in the Suns to get this done in a bit of a upset. Only 5% of tippers have tipped the Suns, while the other 95% have gone with the Cats. I'm going to say Gold Coast get this done by 28 points, a pretty heavy margin. However, there's just something in the back of my head saying the Suns get this done. I could be completely wrong, and I'll probably look like an absolute dickhead next week after the Suns get absolutely hammered by the Cats. But they're both 0-2, so wins have nothing to do with it. And the Suns have been, well, they put up a fight against the Bombers last week, and the Bombers pretty good start. And the Cats, well, look, they realistically just should have won against Carlton, and just fair enough, they lost against the Pies. Obviously, the Pies did come back after the Cats kicked off pretty easy start at the MCG in round 1, but look, the Cats have had some pretty difficult opponents so far. I feel like they should have got that one done last week against Carlton, though, realistically. Going to back in the Suns to get it done, because why the bloody hell not? Second last game of the round, we head over to the MCG to watch Melbourne take on Sydney. 3:20 PM, and well, Sydney actually have the odds to get this done. The D's obviously just didn't show up last week at the Gabba. However, they did have a late surge after the power outage at the Gabba. They did have a late comeback. I think they kicked about 5-6 goals to reduce the margin to only 11 points, which was a crazy comeback and really exciting footy to watch within the last 12 minutes or so left to play after the obviously the lights caught on fire at the Gabba. Round 1, the D's looked strong and dominant after getting it done against the Dogs at the G, and now back at the G, I feel like this could pull in a massive crowd on the Sunday after. Will the D's show up? I genuinely think it is just if the D's will show up or not. Obviously, looking at a Sydney POV, they're sitting top of the table with a hefty percentage of like 232. So they are above any other team comp at the moment. Although the D's actually do have the favourites to win this game, do have the odds to get it done at the home deck. The Swans are just, I don't know about the Swans. They've had a very, very good start. However, they've versed Gold Coast, and they've also versed bloody Hawthorn. So, look, easy opponents to start off the season for the Swans. So in this case, I'm actually going to back in the D's. I feel like if this was at the SCG, 100% backing in the Swans. However, considering it's at the MCG, obviously the D's will want to bounce back after the horrifying loss last week at the Gabba. I feel like round 1 they played really well at the MCG, so I feel like they'll just bring that form back from round 1, same venue, and I feel like they'll be comfortable playing on the deck that they're used to. Going to back in the D's to get it done by 14 points. A bit of a comfortable game, however, it just will be one that you want to watch. It'll just be a very entertaining, maybe high scoring game of footy, but being on Channel 7, the games are always good. Sunday Arvo, Channel 7. So I'm going to back in the D's by 15. And last game of the round, we see Freo take on West Coast. I'm absolutely shitting bricks for this game. Oh, I'm so nervous. Although Freo have the odds to get this done, $1.49 to $2.65. All tippers have pretty much tipped Freo as well, 74% to 26%. Look, we just have not had a good start. We choked to bloody North last week. Well, not choked, but just not a good performance at home against the team who have finished last the last 2 years in a row. And, well, the game against St Kilda was just an absolute shocker. We seem to be going back to our 2019-2020 self, which was just a shocking round of footy, so boring to watch. That's what we've just produced the last couple of weeks, so hopefully we can pick up our first win of the season this week. And seriously, if we can't win against West Coast and we can't win against North, look, we're in bloody trouble this season. I'm obviously going to back in Freo to get this done because I just can't really back in the other side against my own team, and especially in the Derby as well. I bloody despise West Coast, so hopefully we can get this done, and well, if we don't, then you'll never hear the bloody end of me. Or you will definitely hear the end of me, actually, if we don't get this done, because I'm quitting YouTube. I'm probably just going to go out of my way to get hit by a bus. Considering how poor our quality of footy has been in the last few weeks, I'm only going to back us in to get it done by 15 points. I feel like 15 points is genuinely the max we can go against West Coast at the moment. Obviously, I'm going to be absolutely begging us to be scoring a lot more than only a 15-point win against the West Coast Eagles. Hopefully we can score maybe 40 or 50 points up at the end of the night. However, I just don't see it happening after the boring displays we've produced in the last couple of weeks. I feel like West Coast will probably show up and they'll give a good fight. Just hopefully we can bloody win, because if we don't, well, just don't know what to say. That's going to be my tips for round 3. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more content coming out throughout the next few weeks as footy season is back up and running. Also, going to be working my first shift at the G for the footy season. So bloody keen to be getting on the Friars on the Friday night for Collingwood Richmond. It's going to be an absolute packed night. probably not the night you want to be working, but hopefully I can get off a bit early and watch the rest of the game. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for today's video, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in my next video.